Is that good? Can you hear that now?
Yeah, I can hear that now.
Okay, cool. It was muted.
Where's your wife at? Is she on the side?
No, she's got stuff she's doing. She was a little nervous, but she'll be in the shot eventually.
She's nervous
at some
about
point.
What, for you or she's?
No, for her.
Okay.
Yeah. She's very shy about stuff.
No, I know this stuff is like not easy. Like it's not at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, with her, I was going to tread lightly, but I was just like, just show up. It's more of a supportive thing. All three of us kind of thing. It's kind of cool, but.
Yeah.
All right, Jason. So ISTP, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you.
Why you are here is because mainly what I would like to focus is on not so much you, but the fact that you're married to an INFP. That is very intriguing to me, and I'm pretty sure myself and the viewers would like to know how that relationship's going. But again, we're going to go into all kinds of other stuff that you might want to talk about and whatever else we come along in the process. So are you nervous at all?
Well, that's the thing. I know I'm talking to you, just you, and normally where I might come across as extroverted towards people I work with. Some people might even think at work that I'm like, not the class clown, but I don't like chaos. I want everything to go smoothly, but that's because I'm in that element. I don't have a choice. I'm at work. I don't want chaos, but by myself, I would just prefer to be by myself. And so the thought of talking to a bunch of people on the internet, there's a part of that where my mind knows that that's there, but they're not here right now. And so it's just me and you talking. And so that makes it easier. So I'm not as nervous, I don't think. It's more or less just me like talking with someone at work. And that's how I'm going to try to spin it in my mind.
So the ISTP and INFP relationship, from my research and stuff and just knowing the ISTP to a limited extent, I see a lot of compliments in there. There's a lot of stuff that kind of says that, NFs and NF relationships are nice and, a good understanding, common ground type thing. But like, if you really look into an ISTP, there's a lot of things we favor similarly, but there's also extreme differences where, in my opinion, can add some very complicated things. So like, if you could just kind of go into your marriage with Nichole and just kind of the relationship and, pluses and minuses you see with it and just struggles, and not to bash INFPs. We want to be gentle because our feelings are important, Jason. So
yeah,
I'm just reminded, TI first. I just got to remind you a little bit. We're sensitive. So if you could, sir.
Yep. Well, when we first got married, obviously there wasn't really a rocky start because we've always had a good relationship. But what I found was generally when there was any type of chaos, it was almost always provoked by me, and not really so much because of something I did or not do, any of that. I might not notice when, like, maybe I've hurt her feelings in a certain way, and I come to learn that she's got to think that stuff through, or she needs to talk it through. Where with me, I'm just like, well, there's not a problem till there's a problem. I'm not really emotionally tied to a thing. Is it true? Is it false? Stuff like that. I tend to try to fix things, but that would also make it worse. And so I had to learn, like, real quick, just through trial and error, that there's certain parts that I would have to table in my own thinking for the sake of understanding that there's other people that think differently than me, and I can easily hurt their feelings just by being who I am. And what we found over, the course of being married now this long is that the divide that we have is actually one of our greater strengths now, where she'll keep me grounded in some areas, or she's taught me to talk through stuff, think through emotions. She generally has insights I might not see. And so it's like having that character that has, the best of both worlds. Like, she has her strengths and I've got mine. And instead of focusing on the weaknesses, as we come together as one person, it's like we're just one person with all those strengths now. And I'm just finding that it's actually been a pretty good blessing now to meet someone like her. Although you guys and your type, I would say of all the types that I've studied, at first I didn't think much of the INFP, but the longer I studied, I thought, you guys really are the oddballs. Everyone wants to be an INFJ, blah, blah, blah. But the INFP, to me, is very unique. I don't know. It's just very intriguing. And just knowing her compared to all the other people I've ever known in life, friends, family, other people I've dated, she's completely unique, like completely different. And, just from meeting you that one time when we went out to eat, like I can just tell there's a different thing happening there. And that intrigues me. That makes me, that like fires up that whole ISTP, I want to know how things work thing. And it makes me want to know what's different about you guys. And I just find that all intriguing.
And that's the thing too. Like a lot of types aren't interested in MBTI. Just a lot of types aren't. So, yeah. And for you, just a troubleshooter type person, like all that kind of stuff. What's your job anyway? Do you have like a stereotype? Are you like a mechanic or something?
Yeah, I did auto mechanic for 12 years, and now I've worked for the past couple of years at a aerospace industry where we do maintenance on machines and stuff.
Okay. No, that's my job. I'm a maintenance technician. I've been in it for 20 years. So electromechanical, that's what I do. But it's more of an ISTP. That's an ISTP like preferred area. I can troubleshoot and I can hang with all you guys, you know what I mean? But it's like for me, I definitely would prefer a more artsy type thing because in our industry, it's kind of like it's pretty rough. So I can totally hang with the boys. I could do all that stuff, but again, there's not a lot of right when you share the slightest bit of emotions or feelings, you know what comes next.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say it's my ideal job, but it's what I know the most, for 20 years. So it's like, it is what it is, but never say never, I can't change it. But so like talking about your guys' comparisons and how you guys equal out, it's like, so cognitive function speaking, we don't share any of the primary cognitive functions. Like you and us, we don't share any of it. But you're also flipped to where you have FE that's way at the bottom, and that's like a shadow function. That's something far away for us. So like yours is very at the bottom, so it's weak for you. And so, but like that's the thing. So like you are with the TI, you're more objective, analytical, like kind of more in the present type thing. Whereas we aren't really. It's all different. So like with that, I can see how that can start an argument with the. Because it is, for us, it's so difficult, I would say, for you to where at times, especially if you're stressed out, you might have to be a little bit more extra cautious about walking on glass because, like, if Nichole's in a stressed out state or something like that, then if you just disregard the feelings and be like, look, this is the logical step. And like that could totally like damage us, like to where we'll like just it's bad. And so like ISTPs, I was looking at like you guys aren't a huge population either. It's like it's a small majority, like 6% or something like that. It's a lower percentage to where you guys are probably going to have a little bit more of that unique insight that the majority doesn't have. Oh, talking about the MBTI stuff about. You research it. So for you to actually put in the time to actually understand another person and where they're coming from and things like that, that's totally cool in my book. I appreciate when someone puts in that value because a lot of times nowadays, a lot of people don't do that. They just, you talk to me how I like to be talked to and I'm going to do this back. And it's just like, that's not the best way to go to any relationship. Even if you're not in a relationship with a person, it's not. I just find that it's good to kind of find a common ground with everybody instead of just like, this is my way, so take it or leave it.
That's nonsense there. The MBTI stuff, I've always had a curiosity about how anything works. And when it came to the MBTIs, I started studying. I always liked psychology when I was younger, but I didn't really go for it because it wasn't like something like a machine or something I could see and analytically look at and take apart because it's quite nebulous. Like, even if you have all these studies and you're a leading like neurologist type person or whatnot, we still don't quite understand like who we are and why we do what we do and how the brain works. So to me, that's like the ultimate machine that hasn't been worked out. But the more I got into it and studied it, I really wanted to know, how far can I go? What can I actually know for absolute truth and certain that can be said about this and not just be, some like Chinese cookie or fortune cookie type stuff where it's just platitudes, word salad. What can I actually know? And once I just started studying, generally what I'll do is I'll try to take any avenue I can and not just research MBTI. So I might research people that are con men that naturally know how to navigate people's thinking. They do something naturally. They know something. Whether they have scientific terms for it, there's an ability. Darren Brown, famous, I guess, British guy that does all the magic stuff and basically just, he's a pretty cool dude, but he's very good at understanding people. But yet, he's never, he probably couldn't sit down and write a book of analytical psychology and tell you exactly what's happening. But there are some people that are very good about understanding other people. They know the mechanisms. And so I've just been trying to hit anything I can. I know I've never talked to you about this, so I don't know if you've looked at other people like the OPS people or Harry, I think his name is, the cognitive guy.
Yeah, me and Harry talk all the time, so we've already done one collab. But his stuff, his stuff, it's very. So I commonly send people from my channel over to his because my channel is not. Because there's a lot of people like talking about what's FE, what's FI, just the fundamentals of MBTI, which there's a value for that. Not saying I won't ever do content like that, but for me, for over a year and a half of me doing this, like I've never kind of really gone in depth in that sense. And that's just not really my MO kind of thing. I'm more of a just talking about experiences, get people to relate. So it's not that I'm like not going to do it, but I don't know. So the fact that I don't have that like good amount of content, Harry, INFJ, he's super like analytical and very smart and very, so like when I find someone trying to get a lot of that kind of information, I'm like, hey, go over here. So he's our partnership from Creator Buddies. Me and him talk commonly, and we're going to do more collabs and stuff like that. But yeah, his content, I don't watch all of it because again, for me, it's like if I really want, so I want to know things too. So I like to understand things. If I'm like passionate about it or something like that, I will rip that thing apart completely until I figure out everything about it. And that's how I am too. And a lot of that's probably the troubleshooting nature. And so I'm kind of weirdly mixed with just working in my career field for so long, but then also got an INFP foundation. But generally like with me, I like to really know a lot of stuff. So Harry's content, super informative, but that's the whole thing. It's like, if it's a certain topic that I'm interested in, not even just INFP stuff, but if there's something I'm interested in, I'll watch it. I'll just sit there and just pop some popcorn and just be like, I'm listening because I want to feel my brain. And just because like I'm weak on that part, like you said, with the Darren Brown guy. So for me, I really feel that I can really kind of vibe into people's like walls, boundaries. I'm like, I do it. I don't have something it's not a step-by-step document because every person I come across, it's something different, but like, it all happens fluidly. It's just the interactions I do. And then the next thing I know, like half hour later, I'm like deep on some level with this person. And I'm just like, can't everyone do this? Go ahead. I keep going ranting, but.
With Harry, I don't really have a good working model of the MBTI because that's kind of like the joke me and Nichole have is, since she knows, we always ask each other these questions. Okay, well, how do you actually define FE or FI, or what does this actually mean? And we'll start working on stuff, and then she'll just be like, well, you're just going to have to figure out a system then and just work this out. And I'm not going to, but the vague notions I've got, I really do like Harry. The way he has his spectrum stuff, I do like dichotomies. I do tend to think in dichotomies. That's how I study and do stuff, but I don't necessarily think that's how we're supposed to divide up our brain. I don't know if there's just 4 individual little functions and then we're just like, oh, I'm this, I'm that in this situation. It's like, there's a weird spectrum or one comes from another. And I like how Harry starts to define it like that based on, I'm still having trouble. I can see what he's saying, but I'm going to have to listen to more of his videos because he's really thought this through. You can tell he knows what he's talking about, but he's just on a different level right now. And I've not gotten to that point yet. So I'm going to just have to keep listening.
And I see in the comment section, there's a lot of people that just, it goes over their head. And for me too, I get like, so I know the guy has, but even for me, I'm just like, whoo, I gotta take some breaths. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. But no, it's like, if I have time, like it's very much appreciative content because it's like, I get to sit down and just really educate myself. But that's the thing. It's like, if I need that, I'm going to go get that. But like, I don't go straight for exact black and white, word for word, step by step. It's not that doesn't excite me all the time. I know the value of it. I know to really proper understand stuff and ground myself, I got to get that information. But then when I get it, I tend to just kind of, take all the stuff from all the other different areas in my brain and just kind of put it all together in my own little mosh pit of whatever I decide is good out of all the million things. So again, there's a lot of, I appreciate Harry. I appreciate the OPS. OPS, same as Harry's thing. I haven't gone over there, but I'm really intrigued with the OPS just because of the whole where it says there's like 32 different types of each type. And because again, humans are not 16 categories. It's like we all do different things. Like I can act like an ISTP at work on any given day. So it's like we're very complex. So I just like because again, like I don't just from meeting you guys at lunch, Nichole. Like I'm not as reserved as Nichole. Like so again, like I don't know how she is with you. She's probably a lot more. Maybe she's animated, but I'm pretty. Come off extrovert and excited. But again, this is also a passion thing for me is YouTube. And it's something I just feel comfortable with. Whereas in the normal world, I'm not going to be screaming like I am right now. I'm not going to be like doing all this stuff. Generally, it's going to be more of a kind of a soft approach. And I mean, I'm still bubbly and like to uplift people and things like that. But I'm not very, I am quiet. It just depends on the situation. So I can still be really heavily, like really reserved and quiet type person where people are like, are you all right, dude? What? Yeah. Why don't you say something? So I still get that. But again, if you put Nichole and myself next to each other, we're going to look different. So it doesn't mean we're not both INFPs. It's just different. There's so many different types of complexities out there. And that's my thing with it is I get so excited because it's kind of never endless in my thing. It's like, it's because if it was like for you, you're kind of, looking for that concrete analytical information that's very logical. How can I factually put this person in my factual book of whatever, you know what I mean? So like me, I don't care about it. I mean, I want factual enough, but again, I'm happy with the whole this next person is going to be INFP, but there's going to be so much stuff extra that's going to be different. And like, I like the whole openness of everything.
Yeah.
But, okay. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what even to.
So I was seeing like, it's cool because like the ISTP, like I'm into those famous characters or famous celebrities that I keep dropping. But no, I was seeing, I wrote like some down, like Tom Cruise, Clint Eastwood, Steve Jobs, Harrison Ford. So those are like said to be ISTPs. And that kind of, if I look into that, if I don't know everything about a type and how it is, like I can kind of see those people, and those are, movie actors or whatever, but it kind of gives you an overall vibe of what you're kind of looking at. So it's like seeing those people, it's like, they're all different, whatever. But I mean, those are some cool dudes. I mean, they're cool, manly kind of dude guys. It's just like, but they got like a chill vibe to them kind of thing too.
I know the OPS system brings in the masculine, feminine functions or whatnot, or they attach those. And I know that to me is the final frontier. I need to know all the other stuff before I get there. But I do understand that in their system, I would definitely be labeled feminine. I'm easily a pushover. The only time that I'm not is, let's say we're at work, and you'll probably relate. Let's say you're working on a machine and you know what needs to be done. And it's for the sake of keeping this machine running, keeping the employees there. And you have a boss that's trying to either meddle or he's just flat out wrong. In my mind, he's now become the enemy, and I will become very vocal. Like he's wrong, dead wrong. And his like actions are going to have consequences that are going to mess with a lot of people. And I'm going to let him know. But generally, I'm not that guy to bring stuff up. I'll bite my tongue. Even if I should say something and I know I'm supposed to, generally for the sake of just keeping the peace, I'll just remain quiet. That's how I've always been. And I don't know if that's how the Harrison Ford types or Tom Cruises are, but I'm definitely not portrayed. In my life, I don't look like them and how they're portrayed. But I mean, I wouldn't mind, but it's not me.
No, but the masculine, feminine. But so like the TI, so like with us, I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, INFPs especially are avoidant of conflict. I would assume more so than ISTP. But again, when you're playing with the masculine and feminine things, like if I'm FI and my feelings and my value system is completely made a decision that these laws, especially with our field, I got to work with engineers all the time. And so for me, it's so difficult because like the crap where I can't explain, I just know it.
Yeah.
They're like, no, what? Explain to me what's your point? Like, I don't really know. Just trust me on this. Like, it's the biggest like frustration, and because they want that firm like answer. I can't always give it to them. So it doesn't mean I'm wrong, but there's a place for facts in this, but there's also a place for someone to think outside the box and also have other ideas. But that's where that can trigger a lot of anger for me, because those guys will they'll dismiss like a lot of my feelings and this and that. And that's something I value. I spend a lot of time, like these guys just out of the moment, they'll think about it for like 5 seconds and reply to me like, no, that's dumb, this and that. But I probably came to them with a question or an answer or whatever after like weeks of thinking about it, like thinking about positives, good, plus, blah, 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 blah. So if they just step on my stuff and just be like, hey, that's the dumbest thing then that's when I can kind of fuel up. So I still don't, again, the whole feminine and masculine, I don't. And so I would say for you, like the TI, I would assume that if you had logical reasoning of just like, you had this, whatever you come up with in your head based on factual logic and this and that, I would assume that's the same way as internally like we do, and you kind of process it, think about it, and things like that. Or sometimes I've read too with ISTP, you guys typically can act first without like really thinking it out. Not saying that's always the case. That's something I read, but anyway, but yeah, if someone treads over your logic and says, what are you talking about? You're wrong. Like I could see you getting kind of irritated under that scope as well.
No, and I agree. And actually that's how, because we've wondered if I'm a jumper, because I would have NI as a third function. And generally I like to turn things into analogies. That's how I learn, even though I'm supposed to have SC as second. And I'm very grounded in the real world. What can I look at? What can I take in? At the end of the day, since I need to know how something works, if it's something like electronics or something that you can't actually look at, and it's sorcery, you got stuff happening very small.
Yeah.
I have to convert it to what I call analogies, to where this is what this looks like in the real world. And that's how I gain the understanding for it. And so what I do is I do that, and I've done that with Nichole and for other people, as far as the interchange between the T versus the F. I understand, even though I wouldn't get maybe upset or bothered by what you guys would. What I do know for a fact is I know what happens if someone is completely illogical in a situation where it calls for it. And let's say it's a person that I expect, like a manager, a supervisor, someone that's a higher up that I have high expectations. They're running a shop. And if they're completely just illogical, there's a part of me it's almost going to be easy to write them off. And I know that's wrong. So what I tell myself is, let's say you have someone that's, a lead FI, they have their values, they know what's right. And so it might look the same for them, but it's going to be a different situation that provokes those thoughts. But that can happen for them, to where they might not be like, okay, someone used logic incorrectly. Who cares? We all do. But if you know that you're right in a situation, there's a moral, claim to it or something, or however that works. Because I'm still trying to understand what F is anyway. But I can understand or try to navigate how I feel with the circumstances that will get me there, and then basically then say, okay, I have an idea of what it's like then for you guys. It'll be a different circumstance, but it'll be the same reaction. And that's been pretty helpful with me and Nichole. I don't know, the whole FIFE though, I'm still struggling with like what that even means, because everyone will just say, values this and what it means to me. And I'm like, I know, but I need more. I'd be that engineer guy that like would have to enter in, okay, define completely what that means, because I want to know, but oh my goodness.
That helped me, because again, that need, like that requirement for my job to always have to kind of explain myself, I kind of know, and a lot of times I'll avoid it. Like if I know I have to go to that one guy because I need an answer, I need some help, I know that it's going to turn into our argument. And it's like, but it's got me better because I'm like, okay, to avoid long-term conflict with these people, I know that I do have to bring some facts along. I can't just go in there and be like, trust me on this. Like,
yeah.
I have to bring like a couple things. So I have to work hard to like, okay, get facts on there that can kind of support your crazy vision. So as long as they buy in on these like 2 facts that you've made up, then you can go play off in La La Land after you've kind of convinced them. But there is, I mean, some people just cannot. And that's the thing with you. It's like FE, like it's so with me, like in my job, I really flip a lot of that stuff. I'll become like an ESTJ a lot. The majority of my work is I flip all those cognitive functions around and I TE first, things like that. Because for our kind of job, you need to kind of get the machine is not going to let you compose your feelings and things like that. The customers don't give a crap. They want their machine fixed. They want this and that efficiently done in a timely manner. Time is money. Chop, chop, chop. So like, I can't go in and just be like, well, I just don't feel like fixing this machine right now. I'm going to go sit down. I can't do that. So I have to really, the majority of my work life is not that of an INFP. So like at certain times when things are more balanced, then I can INFP on, but the majority of my days I have to be outside of my element, which it's good because you're developing other functions that you're not that great at, things like that. But anytime you do go far away from your type or whatever, you're stressing yourself out. It's not good. But again, for me, I can appreciate it just because I have, as TE is my lowest one, as yours is FE, then I'm very good at TE. Like I just do it a lot. So like, it's not so bad for me. But again, the more you have to do it, if you have to go play with FE and understand it and go, look at everyone and sense their feelings externally and just absorb all that, you're going to get stressed out. You're like, dude, why don't you people stop? Like, it's not saying you can't do it or get good at it, but yeah, I mean, from a heavy dominant type, it's just like, I don't like to always do the TE stuff. I want to take my values and just keep them and just do what I feel like doing at the time, but I can't do that. But it's cool to hear that between you and Nichole, you do have that soft understanding, which is totally cool because it's like, I know a lot of people that just don't care about like feelings and stuff like that. So I know there's one guy at work, he's an INTJ, but like we were talking one time and he cracks me up just how logical he is, things like this. But he's an engineer, but he's very aloof and just kind of stone cold and he's just like very robotic kind of thing. He's very monotone. But with him, it's like, I was like, you know what, man? I was like, just so you know, like the problem with me and you is you don't care about my feelings. And he's like without even skipping a beat, he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. I can care less. I can literally care less about your feelings. And like, to me, it cracked me up. I mean, it was all fun and whatever, but it was just joking around, but he's like, yeah, I completely don't care. And it's just, he's being sincere and legit. He's focusing on more sensible things and this and that. Just like he has motivations, whereas feelings of another is not one of them. So.
I mean, that's something that you've got to think about. And I don't know because I'm supposed to have FE as last. And then some systems, they would call that the demon function. But what I do notice is generally if I'm texting or talking to people where I'm supposed to be, the analytical guy that's going to hit someone over the head, maybe I would have done that when I was younger. And maybe now that I've gotten older, I just have mechanisms in place or I've just learned stuff. But generally, I consider what am I about to text or what am I about to say in person? How might they perceive it? Because I'm not them. I know what I might take it as, but that's not me over there. I'm talking to somebody else. How might they perceive this? How do I craft my words? Is it going to hurt them when I say it? And I'm not always good at that, but that's the first thing that comes up. And even though that will come up, I'll still mess that up because a lot of people were just so different that I'm going to say something a certain way that I never would have thought that they would take. And I'm just like, oh man, okay. Now I'm going to have to consider that next time. But that's what kind of confuses me about MBTI. I'm the classic ISTP. I've tested so many times and the dichotomies are really, I'm not really in the middle. I'm on the very ends of absolutely everything, the IS, the T, and the P. But yet I'm not supposed to really have FE except for as a demon function. But generally, if I get upset or bothered, that's not when I'm caring about what people think. It's like I no longer care. But in my normal everyday goings on, I understand there's so much psychology. Like I impact everyone around me. And so that you have to account for that.
And we do, but some people don't. So we use all 8 of the cognitive functions every day. And that's the whole thing with a lot of people in the MBTI world. They really get caught up with it. So I've said in a couple of videos, and like, I get a lot of comments where people I see a lot of stuff. And to me, it's just like, I was super excited to find my type and just have a baseline. That's all it is. It's a tool. But to think that I only play with the 4, or I flip and do the ESTJ only, and this and that. No, it's like I do FE. I do all that stuff. The bottom 4 that are down there, we do all of them, and that's the whole thing. It's like, so with you, it's like a stereotypical ISTP, whatever. But it doesn't. But that's the whole thing. That's so intriguing because you might be on this like on a cooled out day, whatever. But I think some of the factors of why you might be like, depending on however long you've been married to Nichole, but I think a lot of that came into play where it's like maybe prior to her, you were more of that. I don't really care about consider people's feelings like you kind of led on to like earlier on in your early days. But, being with someone like Nichole, you're going to quickly find that, holy crap, I just hurt her feelings. I just hurt her feelings again. What the hell? So you're going to troubleshoot it. You're going to see her feelings. You're going to be like this. Oh, I didn't do anything. And she's over there crying, whatever. You're going to logically step back and be like, what the hell did I do that time? What did I do this time? And then you're going to have a baseline of like, okay, I kind of get it. So what not to do. And then you can transfer your home life into like the out world where everyone's more appreciative of also you being considerate of their feelings, of the feeling types anyway.
Yeah. And I bet, and I'm thinking as we get older anyway, even if we're not married, just from normal life experience of always interacting with people, unless you're just completely oblivious to like how you provoke responses, I would imagine most people become more, what would it be? Would it be empathetic towards other people from the sheer fact that they've had so many interactions as they get older to where they've seen themselves mess up so many times. And so I would imagine over time, most people do grow in that direction. I mean, to what degree? And some people just probably flat out don't care, like that one engineer guy you're talking about. I've known people like that to where they're good at what they do. They're geniuses at this thing, but they might as well be a robot. Like,
and I know them. I know logically I need that person at this time. So like, I'm not an idiot where I'm like, forget that. My feelings are going to guide me. Like when I have to get an answer, or I need help. All right, here you go. You got to go play with that guy. And that's just what it is. So it's frustrating, but yes, like you said, they're very good at their job. And like, if I need an engineer, like we have an engineering department. So there's, I don't know, a group of like 15 of them or whatever. But like there's a 1 or 2 that are kind of more of an animated, fun kind of engineer. But like when I need an engineer, I want the dry, logical, just give me the straight answer, because that's what I mean. I don't want someone to be like me, like when I need an answer. So I kind of want to go deal with that guy. Like I want, okay, don't give me fluff. Don't give me this. Give me factual this, because I need help with this, because I got to bring my mind down to reality. But to get us on a common ground to where I have an answer to go with, that's difficult for me, because just the start of my conversation with those guys, it's very difficult to kind of get any traction, because it's quickly, they shut me down right when I start spouting off. Well, I kind of think, what do you need? I'm busy. Tell me right now. Give me, what did it do? What did it do? Did you do this? Did you do this? I'm like, and then I start getting frustrated, and then it starts turning into, I get ramped up, and then they start like tugging at me and like, just, dude, like, I don't have time for you. I'm like, I'm like, I've been thinking about this for like a week, and it's like, I'm messing it up. I can't convey what I'm trying to say. Cause a lot of times with me, and I'm sure Nichole beats herself up too. It's like, the things that are our head, we spend a lot of time thinking about it first, typically. I mean, I act sometimes spontaneously, but a lot of times when it comes to me, anything coming out of my mouth, it's not going to be like right away. It's like, if I have to absorb something, I'm going to think about it. And then when it does come out of my mouth, it's usually all jacked up. So, and those guys don't need that. They want clear, concise, just like, this is that. I need it in a structured sentence. And mine are all run-on sentences and just like garbage. It's hard, man.
Yeah, because mathematics is their love language. So, I mean, you got to speak it right.
And I can't stand mathematics, man. I don't like. I mean, I have an electrical degree, and it's like that's heavy math. So, I mean, I know I can do electronics, and I know that math is heavily involved, but I don't like math.
Yeah.
But I know its value. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. A lot of people just dismiss things, and any type is going to be like, well, that's the dumbest thing ever. I don't act like that, where I'm not saying there's not a place for logic, but there's also a place for emotions and feelings too. And that's the whole thing. It's like people need to have a general understanding of like, just because you don't like those, bottom four functions doesn't mean these people don't. So you need to kind of respect it, in my opinion. And that's just where it comes from. Did Nichole get close to the screen yet?
I think she's getting close. She's been kind of coming in and out of the room.
No, she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to come on. We don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to her.
No, I mean she does. She's already like amped herself up. She does want to do it. In fact, she's got a special shirt, and I've got the opposite. Yep.
10 minutes ago, I saw that, and you were talking. I didn't want to interrupt, but I'm just like, literally 10 minutes ago is the first time I noticed the Yoda shirt. Like you've been on there, however long we've been talking, but like I literally just noticed it, and I was like, oh, he's got a Yoda shirt on.
Well, wait till you see hers. We did it on purpose. Okay. She's got hers. I've got mine. But no, what I think is cool about your type is what I think would be the ultimate. Let's say you had someone that was, stereotypically not supposed to be your like, well, I don't want to say smart. Let's say it's all the type. It'd be like the opposite of the engineer, but yet they're put in a place or like a job where they have to think critically. They have no choice. Their income depends on it. And so what they end up having, is someone like you that still acquires the same tools as, a supposed ISTP that can fix anything, but yet you have everything else that was already there, that you were born with, that you're very comfortable with. So it's like the palette is just, it's grown. And I think that's pretty intriguing. That's like, it's like playing a video game and leveling up on all the different categories that you can. And that's pretty interesting.
And I mean, but that's the thing with my work. It's like, I really am kind of the diamond in the rough kind of analogy thing, whatever. It's like, I really have a lot of that vibe where I go out there and there's a lot of things that it's hard for me to really vibe with the stereotypical Western society male kind of thing, where it's just completely like just women, beer, just all the, just a very shallow, no depth kind of stuff. But that's the majority of the conversations that even I have to have with these guys because they're not open to other stuff. So on certain given days, I might find someone that he might actually let me in. And then so I kind of entertain more of a deep conversation. But if I don't plan it out properly, then they can quickly see that I'm going down that road, and they're like, "Oh, what is going on here? Let's drink some beer." And then it's like then they change subject really quick because they know that's where we're going. So it's very difficult for me to really get away from that surface level small talk that guys generally have. The bar talk and just it's common talk. It's like it's all predictable. It's like so I mean, it doesn't say we can't get into deep conversations, but the majority is just this, just small talk, just banter that's just dumb. But yes, utilizing my functions, it's like it's always, I do feel, like you said, I do have a superpower-esque type ability with just being kind of that under the radar sleeper kind of person. Because it's like people will see me, they'll be, look, I don't really speak up in meetings. I don't have that loud, hey, everyone, look at me. I do stuff all the time in the background, but like a lot of the stuff I do, it transfers upwards of, like really high. And so I get a reputation, but it's a quiet reputation to where I'm not using my words like so much. Yeah. I'm doing my abilities, but it's very softly. But then people are like, who did that? Where'd that come from? What's going on? And it's like, oh yeah, Sean did that. So again, it's not being all cocky and this is that. Hey, everyone, I'm the best. It's not that. It's just in the environment of the mechanical world, there is benefits of an INFP while you got to, I feel, endure majority of stress because I can't balance it. My life is maxed out stress, just that kind of last 20 years. It is. It's an off balance for me. I'm very successful at it. But again, I have to give up a lot of who I am. But again, I still have that INFP world that already is my baseline where all these other guys, that's kind of stuff they're super weak on because they're more of that logical thing like that. So like you said, I already have that stuff, but I'm focusing heavily on that other crap. That's just like, it's not. So it's, for me, it's a lot of work. And that's the whole thing with this stuff. If you're willing to put in the insight towards feelings or some other weak thing, then you're going to develop yourself and level up and, be the video game character that, whatever, Mega Man or Super Mario Brothers, whatever.
Yeah.
Get the little foxtail on Super Mario Brothers, start flying around.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever Nichole gets in there, we can flip the script and see I'm not trying to put a kink in your guys' marital armor. It's just interesting to see because you have an insight and obviously she's gonna have insight, but I can almost assume that it's gonna be good, balanced.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now. I mean, she probably wouldn't say it, but I would say most of the chaos would be from me. Because I know most people.
But what do you mean with chaos? So because we're avoiding
friction. Then I'll say friction. Only because I might be just gruff with the way. It's not that I would just be mouthy or always loud, but just the simple things like, "Hey, you want to watch a movie? You want to pick one or something?" And maybe she wanted me to maybe pick this time, and maybe in the hopes that I would pick something she would like. And I'm glossing over this stuff and missing it, but then it's not registering that maybe I've kind of messed up here too. So I'm doubling down. And then I'm just kind of like, oh, well, is everything okay? What's wrong? And then I'll try to fix it, go to TI land. Let's just go ahead and fix this up with a screwdriver. And I'm completely messing it all up. And so, it doesn't happen all the time, but it's the thing I've noticed of it's really made me mindful or cognizant of just how even your actions, even if you're not even saying anything, your actions because someone will interpret, even just the way you're acting, if you're not even saying a word. I've seen it at work, but when you live with a person, we've been married now 8 years and we dated for a couple years before that. And you quickly learn when you're around someone all the time, because it doesn't matter who you're around. You're always going to find the idiosyncrasies of whoever it is. And that's going to happen. Likewise, she'll know all of mine. She'll know all my, she'll have all the dirt on me, just like I'd have all the dirt on her. But
that was my longest relationship was my kid's mom. Yeah. We were never married, but we were together for 8 years. So I know we knew the buttons to push. We knew exactly if we were all right. So it's but anyway,
I don't want to make it sound like, there would always be chaos and, this is how it is. But generally what I would say is if there's chaos, and I notice there's less and less as time goes on, because we've learned each other. She knows that I'm not necessarily being mean, but maybe just dry in my logic and not really being emotive. So she gives me lots of passes and I probably never even see it. There'll be times where I'm just in my mind, I might flat out not understand why there's a problem, but I realize that ain't the hill to die on. It means something to her. It's no big deal. Just let it ride. And so it's just given me mechanisms I never had before. But I would say that I would be the one, because to me, it would seem like the person is less emotional about stuff will be single-handedly the person that will cause the most emotional problems for other people, because that's their blind spot at that point. And so I just assume that if there's problems in my life that are called with the people I either work with, this or the other, I'm gonna assume it's probably going to be my fault right off the bat. I'm going to go with that and I'll try to analyze it. It might not be the case. I may come to find out that, no, it was either a misunderstanding or something else. But in most cases, I've learned that I'm going to start with me and start analyzing the problem that way, diagnose it that way. Okay, this is probably your fault because since you're not very emotionally invested in lots of different things, by default, it'll make it easier for you to hurt other people emotionally because of that. Because if I was very emotional about stuff, I would know firsthand what it feels like, how other people treat me, all the different varied nuances of, well, this person said this with this kind of tone and looked at me at this way, and I had these thoughts, these emotions.
But see, I'm at times envious of non-emotional feeling type people because this world is so rough that literally if you just go out there with your feelings on your sleeve and just people just it's bad. So I come to appreciate being in touch with my feelings and really know my value system. And just, I'm at an age where I do fully appreciate that. But there's some days, man, that I'm just why do you have to care about every little tiny thing? That was a 5-minute interaction with that person and you don't even know, but yet now you're thinking about it for a week. And like, that's the thing that happens. Cause I'm just like, well, what did I do? Could I have done this better? What was it? So I get all jacked up, but like, I hate to interrupt. I don't want to miss my point. We can go back, but like, so with you with the TI, so like with me, when I was talking about how I got to take my feelings to the engineer, but have facts. So with you, I think it would be kind of opposite with the facts of, if you were going to someone like with Nichole, you're going to have your facts and logical reasoning and this and that, but you need to go to her, the engineer, with like a feelings, the same thing I do. Like I got to have like one or two kind of feeling things incorporated or like, logical things. So in your aspect, it's kind of flipped where you got to kind of, okay, I got to make sure I'm cognizant of these feelings and just her things and this and that. So it's not your top priority, but you're doing the same thing I'm doing, just in reverse. You're just kind of...
Yeah, no. And to me, that's why I said earlier, I treat this as analogies where, technically I might not understand and I may never understand fully what it's like to be, as varied as you guys are emotionally, like how you can just, I don't know what they call it, like just feeling all the emotion. I know I've tried to even read this. I understand that if it doesn't happen to me firsthand, then obviously I can read about it, but I'd never know. But I just tell myself, okay, this is the same thing, but with just a different function. This is like what you just said. And so that's my analogy. And I try to enter it in that way, but I still know deep down, I don't know what you guys feel. I would be intrigued to. I would love to just for the experience, but I can imagine it would be taxing.
But that's the thing, like too, with you, trying to fix the screwdriver thing. Like, here, Nichole, I got a screwdriver. Let me. But like with us, that's the whole thing. Like, if someone tries to fix something, if I got hurt or my feelings are messed up or I'm in a messed up state, I need to fix that on my own, like internally. Like, I don't need someone with their logic. Like, if an engineer came over there and be like, let's talk about it logically, I'm like, I will slap him in the face like in a second because I'm just like, that's not what I need. Like, I need to fix it on my own. And that's a lot of the FI thing. It's like, why don't you want to talk to me? Why you're it's like people don't understand. And that's the thing. It's like, I feel bad. Like when I'm in my relationships, like it's kind of not fair to them. I know it's not fair to them. But in relationships, I'm not very good with sharing that side because I need to fix it myself instead of having two people fix the issue. Like if it's something I need to do, I need to kind of think about it for 2 days without them or without anybody. It's not to take anything away from that person or significant other you care about. And I do bring them in from time to time when I really, okay, this is important. We should do this. But more times than not, I'm going to prefer to work on it on my own because the feelings are so complex. And to explain it to an engineer or to someone just doesn't really fully grasp, not that you don't have feelings, just someone on that deep level of us, like it's just, I don't even know where to start. Like, it's just like, I would have to come up with some weird PowerPoint and some kind of crazy, like, whatever flow chart that somehow wouldn't end up like going off into 16 different pages to where you can kind of follow it. Okay. Yes, no. It would take me way too long. So instead, I'm just like, you know what? I got this. It's not against you. Just let me do this because I know me and this and that. So.
Yeah, it's like you need your time to process. I do the same thing if I'm really backed against the wall on a machine because I work in one plant and there's only one other maintenance guy and it's just me and him and we get along really good. I do the electrical part as well. And so when we've got electrical problems, and a lot of times those are harder to trace, and that mechanically you can look at something and for the most part you can be like, I can see with my eyes this part's broken half, or you can see how this has to work. But electrically, it's a little bit different.
But isn't it weird, though, how some people are flipped? Like some of the engineers we have are super smart because electrical, in my opinion, is harder than mechanical. But like it's sometimes for some people, it's flipped. Like they literally look at some simplistic mechanical action and just they're like, I have no idea. I'm like, dude, you're like super smart engineer guy.
Yeah.
And like, so to me, that blows my mind when someone is heavy electrical and they just do not, hey, what is this wrench called? What is this? Am I supposed to do this? I'm like, what? Why are you asking me that? But that's weird to me. But yes, I know what you're saying with electrical being harder. So
no, that's what's intriguing because electrical was the thing I first started as a kid. I was like really young. I don't even remember what age it was. I just remember I would look at the cable box and I was like, oh my goodness. So just videos come out on our TV from this box. This is sorcery. What is going on in here? And so I always had to know. And so after all those years of studying, and I went and got a degree for that as well. And that's always been one of my big hobbies. I wouldn't say I'm absolutely great at it, but I know what I know with it. But then there's some guys that probably, like the engineers you're talking about, maybe dabble with it, learned a little bit in school, but it's like they just see it. And I'm just like, how do you just see that? You can't see any of that, but yet they can't understand like why this structure shouldn't be designed like this. Cause like you can look at it, it's going to fail. Can you not understand that? So yeah, it does intrigue me how some of those guys, just the big brain people, they've got weird blind spots, but they can see stuff that it's not intuitive. Like, how do you even understand this thermodynamic type stuff? And it just comes natural to you. It's like they're able to see it in real life, even though it's just concepts on paper and stuff like that.
But that's a big part in this industry that makes me super successful, is because I know who I need to go to, like to fill in my gaps. Like I can let my ego down when I know that.
Yeah.
I'll still troubleshoot. I don't sit there and every time hey, this doesn't start, and then I go call somebody. I'll do my troubleshooting process and this and that. But I know when I get to a certain point when I'm just like, I'm probably gonna need help on this. So a lot of guys in our industry are gonna be like, have the ego where it's just like, I'm not asking anybody for help, blah blah blah. But for me, like I'm very successful based on the fact that I have come to a common ground with these people, and just that's where I make my full success, is because I know that okay, I got to go to this guy, or I got to go to this guy. I got to go. So if you close yourself up to all those people, you know what I mean? It's like, so if I have that deep, crazy electrical component level type location of some, whatever, this diode is reversed and I got some kind of bridge rectifier going on situation. If I need to go component level kind of stuff, then I'm going to go to this engineer, because he's going to be like, oh yeah, boom. And then I, get to go fix the customer right away or whatever it is. And so that's for me. I know I know my blind spots. Like I'm very absorbed. I know what they are. I work on them. But there's only so far I'm going to be able to get without like another lifetime of, lifetime on top of this lifetime. So I don't know what the point of that all was or why we even went that route. Did I cut you off?
No. I just realized the whole time you were talking, I never even completed like why I went off in that direction. Cause you made the comment about how, you'll need your time to process when you've got lots of emotions going on, sometimes to the detriment of a person that's close to you. And I guess me getting ready to talk about machines and stuff, I was going to kind of like say basically with my TI, if I get in a spot where it's like something needs to be fixed, but I'm really getting beat up, it's hard for it. I just tell myself it's probably the same for you guys, but instead of it would just look a little different, but I've got to be by myself. I can't have people around me asking questions. I've got to process what's actually wrong here. Why can't I fix this? Sometimes I have to sit somewhere and just close my eyes and just try to analyze it. Even though that's not feelings based, trying to work through a problem. I just tell myself that for the people that do have those moments where they've got to just be by themselves, they've got to process whatever's going on up here with emotions, all that varied stuff. It's the same concept, just different means of how it's done. And so I understand why it just tells me I understand why some people need space and to not be bothered by it. Because at some point we all need space for some reason.
Yeah. Everyone, extroverts, everyone needs space.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so that's where I should have tagged it on at the end. Instead, I was just like, bleh, and just word salad and just started talking about some nonsense. But yeah, that's why I even brought that up.
That's also something I've come to know about ISTPs, is that you guys also require your alone time and things like that. And it's not, being introvert, this and that, but there's some introvert types that can not be so in tune to that all the time. But yeah, for the ISTP, that's kind of one of your, you like to do that as well. So you're also going to appreciate that when she needs to do it, and you guys will kind of have just a general common understanding without getting a huge debate. Because I've had relationships with the extroverts where they just don't get it. I'll go sit on the couch for like a day or a half day or whatever it is, and then right when I kind of say the first word from being silent for like 6 hours, then they're like, "Oh, he's ready to play now. Let's go outside. Let's go run around. Let's go crazy." Or like, but that's how I'm not the best at relationships. I understand how to make relationships work. You got to compromise. You got to do all this stuff. So it's hard to not say I'm stubborn, but when it comes to relationships, I'm very stubborn with. There's a lot of things I don't want to give up to kind of make one person kind of thing. Like I'm stubborn in that way. Like I have my own thing. I want to do it. So it's not saying I can't. I'm writing off relationships. I'm not going to be in one for the rest of my life. But I know the single life, not going partying and going all that kind of single life, but the old guy single life, to where I'm more comfortable with just me and my daughter, things like that. It's just, but like my long-term experiences with relationships have been with extroverts, and their understanding, especially the extroverts that I've been with, the types of extroverts, they really don't have that understanding of that introvert time. Or just being alone in this, I need to go in my space, I need to do this and that. Some of them will respect it. They'll see it. And if they've been with me for a while, they'll be like, okay, he needs his Sean time. I need to respect it. But then like the next day happens, I might need a little bit more Sean time for like a couple hours. They don't understand that. Well, did you just have that yesterday? Today, let's go crazy. Let's go do this and that. And I don't know. I think that's a very important part, especially of an INFP, of understanding or be respectful to one is just, hey, they need to process things internally without your screwdriver help. It's super important. So it's not saying you can't help. And that's the thing I felt bad for them all the time because I'm like, you're not telling them anything. Knowing how they are, they kind of want to know what's going on. They can't really know, they can't mind read you. So I knew that a lot of it was my fault because I wasn't sharing what's going on. But again, it just turned into that whole thing where I'm single, so obviously they didn't work out, but it was that whole thing. It's just, I don't know. Okay. I don't know where we keep going with all this stuff. But anyway, what were you going to say? If hopefully you didn't forget.
Oh no, I didn't forget. Just piggybacking off what you said before, where sometimes you'd be on the couch, you need your time. Cause I can't imagine what it would be like for your guys' types to be with someone that was extroverted. Like, I don't know, like an ENFP or some nonsense. I can imagine that would be very taxing.
I've been with an ENFP once for few months. That is very bubbly. That was very difficult for me. Cause I can be very, like, INFPs are actually said to be one of the most extroverted introvert types. There can be variations of that. So like, I know with me, if I get excited about something, I'll be completely talky and animated, blah, blah, and I'll just, do this and want to explore stuff with NE and all this crap. But with an extrovert, I kind of almost feel that I need to be an introvert. Next relationship needs to be like an introvert. Because I can already extrovert. I don't need an extrovert to pull me out of my shell. Like, I can already do it. I know I do it a lot. I converse with people at work all the time. I socialize a lot just because I have to. So I'm kind of versed with it, with understanding how it works. So I kind of naturally can do it better. But so if I had an extrovert on top of that, like, hey, let's go. I don't need you to pull me out. I can do it myself. So anyway.
Yeah. No, and that's what I was going to say is a lot of times when I come home from work, sometimes I'm just beat up and I'm kind of drained because of something we can't fix. But I know when I step in the door, I've got to consider, I've got to keep her entertained or keep her happy. But sometimes she might be in a place too where for whatever reason, maybe she's read a lot of comments or something like on some Facebook posts or whatever, some nonsense going on. And maybe we both just need our time. And what I've found is sometimes that comfortable silence, just sitting there playing on your phones, a foot away from each other, just laying there in bed, like a comfortable silence. Like we both get our recharge and neither one of us have any problems like, well, you didn't talk to me when I was here. It's like we've learned that there's an understanding and it literally doesn't mean either one of us are upset. We just know like, hey, we got phone time. And sometimes we'll say that you want to do phone time and we'll literally right next to me and we'll just go do our thing. And we're completely content with that. And I know she's happy to do whatever she's going to do. She's just happy maybe that I'm home as well. And I'm happy that she's next to me and it works. So it's like, we don't have to play by any rules or do this. I know that that's going to make her happy and she knows it's going to make me happy directly after work. And we get along fine without even saying a word. With the occasional, we'll show a meme, like be like, hey, look at this meme and she'll find something or something. But yeah, beyond that, sometimes that's just great time and we won't even watch a movie. We'll just do that. So I would have trouble if I was with an extrovert. Obviously I would have to cope and most people do. Most people just cope with whatever they got, but I'm just glad I'm not. I don't know if I'd want all that chaos. Not that they're a certain way, but you know what I mean?
Like I was always weirdly drawn to them, I think. But again, like just every time I kept playing with it, I'm just like, that's not, I can't keep doing it. Like, even though I'm intrigued, like that's the whole thing. I'm drawn to things that are different. Like I'm curious. Like I think you're curious too with certain things like that. You're just, curious of how the INFP works, this and that. But I'm curious of how someone different than me works. So I'm intrigued. But it doesn't mean you should get in a relationship with it. Like, that's the problem. So are you going to go get Nichole now?
Yeah, I'm gonna go find her. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Jason, don't force her to come. Like if she's over there twitching and like having convulsions about anxiety, just let her go.
No, we did talk about this. At first she was like, I don't want to do it. And she's like, no, I need to. And then she had time to process, and we talked about it last night. So she picked out the shirt, everything. So she's good. She just didn't want to be in the room while we were doing this. So I actually don't know where she's at.
But she's come so far, because like even with me, she said, I don't know if it's the truth, it probably is, but she said that one of my videos when we first met was like the first time she's ever commented on like YouTube or whatever.
It was.
But since then, she has like opened up and she's commenting all over places. She's like, interacting. So she's like, to me, it's very cool. To where now we're at this part to where you come from that step. And it's like, I always love that about people. Like if they like start working on their fears and taking brave steps like this, to me, it's like something if she does it again, it's not forceful, but like for me, it's super awesome to see someone brave it. Cause I know how it is. I know how it feels to be in this situation like her. Me, I'm comfortable with it. You've been on here for a while, so you got an idea, but her, I guarantee she's like how I was on the live stream. Like I was flipping out.
Yeah. No, I'll go get her and we'll see what's going on.
Go to the bathroom, take a break and whatever. Nichole. What's up?
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you excited?
Sure. Why not?
You're playing it off really well, just so you know.
These earbuds are stupid.
Why?
I don't know. My ears are funny. They just don't like earbuds.
Mine always falls out. So like this thing is like one of those pressing ones, but like, it falls out and I don't like earbuds either, but.
Oh, I shouldn't have touched it because it was fine.
Why are you complaining? I like your shirt and Jason's shirt.
Oh, thanks. This is his, but he let me wear it.
Nice. Do you want to wait till Jason gets back?
He's back. Am I supposed to know something?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I can't hear anything though.
I know because I have the earbuds.
Yeah. You take that one.
These are stupid.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right. I'll take this one.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Hey, we fixed the problem, right?
T.I. and Nichole's value system of this is stupid. So Nichole, so I want to kind of talk about like your side of things with being in a relationship with Jason. He was nice. He was gentle to us. Like he didn't like bash us.
Should I still be here?
No, well, yeah, she might need a partner in crime. I don't know if she feels comfortable without you there, but
do you want to be here by yourself? Because I'll go if you'd be more comfortable.
This was not part of the deal.
What wasn't part of the deal?
You said cameo.
I didn't say anything. Why do you remember old stuff? Like, we don't need to bring up old stuff.
Old stuff Nichole, like a day and a half ago?
Nichole, you came look, you started out with a comment on YouTube. You said that was your first comment ever. And now you've grown so much. This is the next step. And you want this. No. See, the problem is it's very hard for me to manipulate another INFP because you already probably know my tricks. All right, so Nichole, what is your thoughts of being with an ISTP? The viewers are very interested, and I am too. So, do you have anything to say?
Or are you just saying that?
Am I interested?
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I'm interested. Like, it's awesome to me because, like, so he gave me his side, but again, there's always two sides of the story, and your side of I just want to know what it's like because I've never known an ISTP per se with like someone who's officially taken an MBTI test. I'm not saying I'm not working around them every day, but again, I like to just understand a relationship compatibility thing from your perspective. Help us out, Jason. We need troubleshooting right now.
We do. Let me think about this.
I don't know. I highly recommend it. Like, I highly recommend the NF with the ST type.
But do you see, so like, okay, me and you were talking where, like for me, when I was researching the ISTP, like I found that there's a lot of common ground between the two of us. And like, so, but there's also blinding differences. That the biggest intrigue is just the TI and the FI, like our lead functions. That to me is where the drama comes in that I'm interested in, is just like, and I think that Jason navigates your feeling department very delicately, it sounds.
Yeah.
But again, obviously there's going to be times and days that does come into effect. But for you with our lead FI and values and this and that, and Jason just sucking in general with feelings and everything else, how does, see, it's like, so he's not the best to understand it, but he's a person that really wants to understand him. So it's very hard to kind of, I don't know. How do you feel he is towards your feeling department?
So since I don't have to deal with his feelings because he doesn't have any,
that's
a plus.
Yes, that is a
so
huge.
I can just worry about mine and dealing with
any
and my FI.
That is
I don't have to like help him with his feelings.
He didn't bring that up at all. Neither did I.
I know that's actually pretty good.
Yes, because that's what I'm saying. For us, that's like a full-time job, is like dealing with our feelings. So
exactly.
Like, I didn't even think about that. That is a good dynamic. Everyone should be in a relationship with an ISTP.
Hey, I told you earlier, she brings interesting dynamics and insights that I never even thought. She just has these like things, these like insights.
Well, but that means I'm supposed to think about it. I didn't. I failed at that. So, but no, that's very intriguing because yes, like, but that's how it is, Nichole. Like, you know that when we go empathetic on people and have to go take in all their emotions, like that drains us like to the core.
Exactly.
Because again, our feelings don't go away. We still have to process our stuff every day. And then all of a sudden, hey, I got someone else's feelings now. Oh, I got someone else's feelings now. So like for you not to, that's, he has no feelings. That part cracks me up. But no, I mean, but I know what you mean. It's like Jason has feelings, audience.
They're just a little small. That's all.
No, but that's pretty cool to think about like that way.
Plus, Sean, we're intuitives, but we live in a sensor world. So if I'm with a sensor, I learn how to speak sensor language very fluently. And I think that's very helpful for me to take out into like the outside world.
No, I totally agree. It's like, I hate going out that door and just S's everywhere. but I get it. You know what I mean? It's like, there's nothing wrong with S's. Like I get blasted when I say wrong things, but like, but no, that's the thing. It's like the ST, like for me, I'm going to go try an NF. Like I did a bunch of STs already. So like, it's not to say it doesn't work. And this dynamic is very intriguing, but for me, I'm going to go try the NF kind of thing. I'm sure I'm going to get an ST next time too, but that's my hopes. But no, it's like going out in the world and, you know, having that insider information from a sensor type or this and that, that's going to let you kind of flow better with society and kind of fly under the radar. So if you don't have that insight, you're not going to, you know, like we like to typically do, is just kind of go underneath stuff and no one look at me. I just want to stay over here in the corner. But if someone's not very adept to sensors and how they work, we're going to stand out a lot more. So I think that helps. Nice cloak and whatever invisibility factor we like to pull off. So it's very appreciative, Nichole. And you will, I'm telling you, once you process all this and, you know, tonight you'll be like, what in the world? But like after you get through it, there's going to be a step. You're going to do more. You're going to start public speaking and it's going to be great. Like this is all going to happen like within a week. Like I'm telling you, like yes, I know, but you know what I mean? It's good. It's good for growth doing all this stuff.
I'm really bad with directions with like driving and stuff. So
you don't have a GPS?
Helpful.
I don't go anywhere
don't
without a
use
GPS
it.
on. I have
use
to.
it.
Like if I'm going somewhere I don't know, I have a GPS on 100%.
Oh.
Like, was that a cat?
Yes, it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
She's already eyeballing.
She'll probably walk in front of it if you tell her to come over here.
Boo boo. Come here.
Come here.
Or she'll walk on the keyboard and shut this whole thing down.
Come here. Yeah, she probably will.
Oh,
world.
Yeah. Now she's rubbing.
Oh, she's gonna rub on it.
Yeah.
Nice. What's up with that giraffe? I didn't even notice that either. Were you sitting in front of that, Jason? I'm like not aware of my surroundings apparently.
That's my Wilson.
That's what I was kind of getting to.
I love giraffes. I look at them. Well, me being a believer and also liking science, and I look at how they're engineered, I tend to think, okay, God made a giraffe. He had purpose in why he did it. And so when I look at them, just like, they look ridiculous. So it makes me wonder about his character. I know it sounds ridiculous, but when I look at funny animals like that, because I love animals, and deep down, I probably would prefer animals to people. I know we're not supposed to be like that, but I've always loved animals. And
I don't like to admit it, but yeah, I'm not like, it's weird how I like animals are. I have this weird bond with animals. Like not even my dog, just anyone. I don't have a dog, but like when I go to dog people's houses and stuff, there's some weird attraction that they're drawn to me. And it's like almost every animal. It's weird.
It could just be the energy you're putting off if you're just naturally calm around them, or you do like them to where you don't stand out as like the anxious.
Give them food, people food.
We're supposed to. At least that's what I like.
Well, no, we're not supposed to. If you like talk to their owner and be like, he can't have people food. But yeah, so I think I bribe them, but I just, they those puppy eyes, man, I can't, that's impossible to like.
No.
I'm bad at that stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, Harry, I don't know. He keeps emailing me and he wants to do another collab, like collab part 2. So, did you guys see that one collab that me and him did?
I did. I don't think he did.
I think I saw some of it. I've been sleeping on trying to watch a bunch of his vids. I need to have some sit down time to watch them because I can already tell, like, I've only got bits and pieces of what he's saying, but I can tell he's stumbled upon something I think is interesting and I want to get that. But the more interactions he has with other people, like with you and others, to me, those are the intriguing part. I want to see the interactions.
He doesn't do those a lot though.
He doesn't? Okay.
No, he doesn't have a lot of those, not to my knowledge. He's done a couple collabs, but like the majority of what he does is those informational, crazy like videos that he does, like super informative. But again, the collabs, like with me and him, it was more of an open conversation kind of thing to where we were talking about our childhoods as an INFJ and an INFP. So he starts first and then I take the next like 10 minutes or whatever at the end. But so it's not a super informative. It was a difference to how his videos typically play out. It was just more of an open conversation kind of thing. So, but yeah, with Harry, I get scared because I definitely have studied this stuff for a long time, but I don't go as deep like as him. Like, so like with him, like you said, talking over our head, like I'm overwhelmed. If I had to get in a conversation with him, I know again, like he's the engineer. If I need to know what the hell the difference is between TI and TE, I'm going to go to Harry. So but I'm not always into that because I want to kind of have my own idea. Like I dabble, I read factual things. I'm like, okay, I this and this and this. I got an understanding, but there comes a point when I concoct my own understanding and then I don't necessarily want someone to unravel that with massive facts. So, So I tend to stay away. I love Harry. I mean, it's like I totally vibe with INFJs. But like there's a certain level where I do stand back a little bit because I'm like, I don't want you to mess up my thoughts.
You're comfortable where you are with what you know and you got your worldview.
So I'm not, I know there's a certain points. I'm ignorant in certain levels of it. I know that. I'm not as deep as him, but I like what I can concoct as my worldview of, and it's more things. It's not just because Harry's going to give me his take, but like, that's the thing. I don't like you to tell me you're one way. And so like, I like his way. I like OPS. I like MBTI. I like Enneagram. I like all this stuff. And then I have created out of like 10 different systems, my vague understanding that somehow I am okay with. But it's all jarbled and it's not really pinpointed. And it's all just from so many different sources that I've dabbled with. And that's my whole thing. It's like, I don't want someone to take away all that time that I've put in to all those things and just give me their one point of view of like, no, this is how it is. I'm going to shut down. Like, basically, I'm just going to be like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Leave me alone. So I'm done ranting. Sorry.
She's got a data and rare gems she'll drop occasionally, but it's like at her time, and I've got to be like ready to grab them.
No, she will.
Reject some. I drop the perfect gem, and he's like, no, and he'll brush that aside, and then like 2 months later, I'll bring it up again, and he'll be like, yeah. I'm like, I told you that 2 months ago, and he'll be like,
yep, true story.
You did? Yeah.
But see, Jason, this is the stuff where I was saying, like, when I come to those engineers, like, it's typically stuff that I've already thought about, like, in depth for, like, sometimes a week, a month, like 6 months. Like, I've thought about the positives, the negatives, all the different outcomes I've processed, like, all this stuff. So when I come to you or an engineer, it's like, if they reject it right away, like, that totally, like, is just, to me, I'm just like, what the hell? But I don't explain it, and that's my problem. Like, that's where it's like, for Nichole, she might not be able to convey it in a step-by-step outline. She just drops a gem. But just if she does open her mouth and say something, it's probably a lot of thought behind it, and not just out of nowhere. Because again, like, that's how I am. If I speak, not like right now where I'm not shutting up, but like if I actually speak in front of people, then it's typically behind that is a lot of thought. I don't just randomly speak. It's like, so I'll bring something out, but typically, especially in our line of work, it gets dismissed. It's just like, no, that's dumb. And then they just move on. But for me, I'm just like, all right, whatever. But I put a lot of thought into this, and I'm just trying to help out. So it's big picture looking at. It's with me, analytical, logical. I take all those perspectives and then I drop something. But a lot of people aren't going to always understand that, nor can we convey it with our words eloquently enough to where people will understand it or think it's important. But that's one of the things I wish that people would take more of our gentle offerings as, like, to think it, like, without dismissing it right away, to kind of simmer on it a little bit before people dismiss it. Because again, if someone does dismiss it, I'll shut down and I'll just be like, well, screw it then. I won't say nothing. Like Nichole said, she'll bring it up like months later after she's kind of, all right, fine. And then she brings it up strategically on probably a day she's already been plotting. Oh, I can get him this day. So
no, it's not like that.
Well, but I'm saying it's like, but there's like certain times where I know I'll hit doors at different times. So if I do something one day, it doesn't work, then I'll try a different angle or a different approach to kind of still get my same insights out there, but just in a different manner.
But the opportunity has to present itself for me to like bring it up again. I'm not going to like plan like beforehand, oh, like maybe I could do it this time or this way. If the opportunity comes up again, I'll be like, oh, okay, it's now, go. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so she's an assassin, basically. She's an assassin.
It's like it's holding a grudge assassin? Is that kind of what it is?
No, not even like that. She'll just, if she knows that she said something and it's true and she can understand that I haven't really seen it from her direction yet, but maybe I will take it. It's like as time goes on, she'll wait for the perfect moment to drop that thing again after I've thought it through. And then it's like it lands right in my lap. And then it's like, well, I already told you that and you rejected it before, but now it's like she knows that I'm able to receive it at that point. So it's like she's a hitman with it.
But that's what I was trying to say. Like,
yeah.
She knows you're able to receive it at that point. So you have waited for the opportune time, right? Like to where, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so that day you pitched it to him 2 months ago was like, he was whatever, work stress, blah, 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 whatever it is. But then 2 months later, you're like, oh, he's a little bit more casual. He's had like a day off. It's Saturday. He's not working. I'm going to pitch it to him now. So it's like, but that's what I'm kind of meaning. Like you're kind of waiting for a different time or approach. Like, I guess that's what you were saying too.
If the subject comes up again or the situation arises to where it would make sense to say it again. Because I'm not just going to like bring it up out of the blue either.
And that's the thing. Our ideas, they're 100% accurate all the time. So for anyone to dismiss them ever, it's wrong. Like, so, people, you can't just throw it away. You have to bring it back up repeatedly because they're awesome ideas. So, so thanks so much, Jason, Nichole. We'll be in touch, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and thanks for the shirt. Thanks for the Wilson shirt.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Nichole. Okay. All right. So, okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one, man. I'll see you.
All right. Later.